Every once in a while, history places something in our hands that simply shouldn't exist. An artifact, a map, a structure that refuses to fit inside the story we've been told. These discoveries spark debates, ignite curiosity, and for a moment force us to question everything we think we know. But as the excitement fades, they're quietly shelved away, hidden in museum basements, archived in restricted files, or dismissed by experts who can't agree on what they even are. In today's episode, we're uncovering baffling relics, objects carved in forgotten languages, blueprints of continents we've never mapped, and sealed chambers untouched since ancient civilizations vanished. Together, they reveal a past far more advanced and far more mysterious than our history books are willing to admit. Each discovery is real. Each one is documented. And to this day, each one remains unexplained. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's begin. The Venta Olmec Heads, in the thick, humid jungles of southern Mexico, deep under layers of earth and forgotten time, lie the silent giants of the Olmec world, the colossal stone heads of La Venta, each one carved from blocks of volcanic basalt, weighing up to 50 tons, each transported across miles of brutal terrain, each shaped with such precision that even today, their expressions feel strangely alive. Archaeologists have tried to explain them for almost a century, yet every explanation seems to raise a new question. These heads don't just look carved, they look engineered, their faces are detailed, realistic, expressive, unlike anything else from their era. Their helmets, their stern gaze, their perfectly smoothed contours, all of it feels too advanced for a civilization that supposedly had no metal tools and no wheel. How did they cut the basalt? How did they move stones heavier than modern trucks through swamps and forests? No written records survive, no instructions, no diagrams, no stories from the Olmecs themselves, just the heads, 16 of them, sitting exactly where someone placed them more than 3,000 years ago. Some researchers notice something unusual. The facial features on these heads don't quite match typical Mesoamerican art. The broad noses, full lips, and rounded faces triggered debates that spread far beyond archaeology. Were these depictions of local leaders, or symbols of a people whose origins have been lost, or something else entirely? Visitors, travelers, outsiders from distant lands? Mainstream scholars deny all of that. They say the resemblance means nothing. But that still doesn't explain one detail that stands out above everything else. The helmets, smooth, rounded, tight-fitting, almost modern-looking. Why would an ancient civilization carve helmets this precise when there's no record of armor, metalwork, or organized warfare at the time? It almost feels as if the heads belong to individuals who played a role far larger than ordinary rulers. Their expressions, their posture, their placement, everything hints at importance. Not just royalty, but something almost ceremonial, maybe even cosmic. The deeper you look, the stranger they get. Not because they hide the truth, but because they never reveal enough. And so the colossal Olmec heads continue to sit, half buried in the jungle, staring into the distance with their stone-cold expressions, watching time pass, watching civilizations rise and fall, watching us as we still struggle to understand how a people so ancient could leave behind something so impossibly advanced. Their story hasn't been fully written, their mystery hasn't been solved, and their silence might be telling us more than their creators ever intended. The Vinland map, locked away in the quiet archives of Yale University, an unassuming piece of parchment once threatened to overturn everything we thought we knew about world history. It looked fragile, yellowed by time, thin enough to crumble if handled the wrong way. But on that parchment was a map, one that showed a landmass labeled Vinland on the western edge of the Atlantic, centuries before Columbus ever set sail. The Vinland map wasn't just an artifact, it was a challenge, a direct confrontation with one of history's most established timelines. If it was authentic, it meant medieval explorers from Europe had not only crossed the Atlantic, but charted parts of North America, long before Columbus was even born. When the map surfaced in the 1960s, scholars, historians, and media outlets exploded with excitement. Here was physical evidence, actual cartography, matching the ancient Viking sagas that spoke of a mysterious land rich with grapes and forests, a land that sounded suspiciously like the coasts of Canada. But mystery followed celebration, and suspicion followed mystery. Scientists began testing the ink, expecting to confirm its medieval origins. Instead, they found something unsettling, traces of modern chemicals that shouldn't exist in the 1400s. Suddenly, doubt overshadowed discovery. Was the Vinland map real or a masterful forgery. Experts lined up on both sides. Some insisted contamination from restoration chemicals distorted the results. Others argued the ink composition was too suspicious to ignore. Panels were formed. Reports were published. Heated debates echoed through academic halls. But the map refused to give a clear answer. What made the map so unnerving was not just what it showed, but how confidently it showed it. The coastlines weren't guesses. They were drawn with intent, with familiarity, as if the cartographer knew the world beyond Europe far better than they should have. Some historians suggested that secret knowledge circulated among certain medieval scholars hidden from public records. Others believed Norse monasteries might have preserved ancient navigation data passed down from voyages now lost to time. And then there was the possibility no one wanted to discuss publicly, that someone forged the map on purpose, not to deceive academically, but to challenge the very boundaries of historical truth. Despite every test, every analysis, every attempt to declare the map real or fake, the Vinland map sits stubbornly in the middle, a paradox. Too detailed to dismiss, too suspicious to accept, a relic suspended between truth and myth. Whether forged or authentic, one thing is undeniable. Its existence forced the world to reconsider the possibility that history is not always a straight line, that discoveries happen, are forgotten, and rediscovered again, that entire chapters of human exploration may have unfolded long before our textbooks say they did. The Vinland map may never reveal its secret, but in its silence, it tells us that the past is far larger, far stranger, and far less certain than we ever imagined. The dog figurines. Across the ancient landscapes of Japan, long before written history, the Jomon people created something that still puzzles the modern world. The Dogu figurines. Small clay sculptures, delicate yet strangely advanced, scattered across prehistoric settlements like clues left behind by a civilization that understood more than we think. At first glance, they look like simple artifacts, stylized human forms made thousands of years ago. But when you take a closer look, the dog don't resemble ordinary humans. Their eyes are oversized and almond-shaped. Their bodies are wrapped in patterns that look like armor. Some have segmented joints, almost mechanical. Others appear to wear helmets, goggles, or chest pieces, features completely out of place for the era. The Jomon culture was skilled in pottery, but these figures go far beyond artistic decoration. They seem purposeful, designed, created with details that feel strangely modern. Archaeologists have tried to explain them. Fertility idols, ritual dolls, healing objects, yet none of these theories fully match the complexity of their design. Why would prehistoric people create figures that look more like technology than mythology? Some dog have what appear to be reinforced limbs, as if depicting something stronger than a human body. Others have grooves across their chests and arms that resemble fitted suits that look far too similar to modern protective gear or even early aeronautical designs. It raises an uncomfortable question. Were the Jomon people depicting something they saw or something they imagined? Mainstream scholars avoid speculation. They prefer safe explanations rooted in ritual and symbolism. But the dog resists simplification. Their shapes, their features, their advanced symmetry, all of it suggests intention beyond simple spiritual art. And then there's the placement of the dog. They're often found broken, deliberately. Many researchers believe they were shattered on purpose, as if ending a ritual, but others see something else. Maybe the Jomon were honoring a being, an event, or a phenomenon that didn't fit into everyday life. The unsettling part is that the Jomon left no written records, no stories, no explanations. Only these figures, quiet, alien, unblinking. They feel like messages from a forgotten chapter of history, a chapter where human eyes may have witnessed something extraordinary. The dog figurines stand at the crossroads of archaeology and mystery. They blur the line between art and technology, between legend and memory. They suggest a world where ancient people might have encountered things we can barely imagine, and tried, with the clay in their hands, to preserve those encounters forever. Even today, when we look at the Dogu, there's a strange sense of recognition, as if the past is whispering something we're only just beginning to understand. Ecuador's Metal Library. Hidden beneath the dense green canopy of the Ecuadorian rainforest lies one of the most debated mysteries in archaeological history, Tayo's Cave, a labyrinth of tunnels, chambers, and pitch-black passages stretching deep into the earth. For generations, the indigenous Shuar people have guarded it, speaking of secrets buried in its depths, secrets outsiders were never meant to see. And then, in the late 1960s, an explorer named Juan Morich claimed he had seen something inside the cave that defied everything we know about ancient civilizations. a metal library. Not books made of paper, but thick metallic plates engraved with symbols, diagrams, and language no one could recognize. According to him, these plates documented a forgotten chapter of humanity, or possibly something not entirely human. The world dismissed his claim at first, until his story reached Erich von Däniken, the author who popularized ancient astronaut theories. Suddenly, the legend of the Metal Library exploded. Scientists, treasure hunters, and governments became interested, and in 1976, a massive expedition was formed, one so large that it even included Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon. If an astronaut who had seen space was willing to enter this cave, something extraordinary had to be hiding in its depths. But when the expedition reached the cave's interior, they found nothing like Moritz described. No metal plates, no mysterious chambers, only natural rock formations and ordinary cave structures. To the official world, the mystery was closed, but the story wasn't over, not even close. The Shoar people claimed the team never entered the true tunnels. The hidden passages only the tribe knew about. Passages Moritz supposedly accessed alone, without permission, and without sharing the exact route. Rumors said he had photographs and artifacts stored away in private, items the public never saw. And then there was Father Crespi, a priest in nearby Cuenca, who possessed strange metallic sheets covered in unfamiliar symbols. His collection became legendary. People whispered that some of his pieces came from the very cave Moritz explored. But after Crespi's death, his artifacts disappeared, some sold, some taken, some burned. What survived left more questions than answers. Every trail leads to another. Every testimony contradicts the next. One group believes the Metal Library was removed long ago by unknown hands. Perhaps military, perhaps government, perhaps something even more secretive. Another group believes Moritz exaggerated or staged the entire claim. Yet others insist the library still lies untouched, deep in a part of Taos Cave no outsider has ever reached. And then there's the cave itself, vast, silent, ancient. Its walls cut in ways that look both natural and impossibly geometric. Some chambers appear shaped as if by design, not erosion. The deeper you go, the more it feels like the cave is hiding something, not by accident, but by intention. Taos is more than a location. It's a boundary between legend and archaeology, between myth and truth. Whether the Metal Library is real or not remains one of history's most enduring questions. But the mystery persists because every person who enters the cave comes out with the same feeling, that something is down there, something waiting to be uncovered, something that has survived untouched through thousands of years, protected by darkness, stone, and silence. The rainforest covers its secrets well, and Taos Cave keeps them even better.